Aristotle is known as the father of modern logic. His logic is just perfect. His logic is like this, you will like this. What's your name? Huh? Aristotle? Oh. You also carry Shiva's name. Aristotle's logic is like this. A can only be A. A cannot be B. B can only be B. B cannot be A. Did we go through this? No? Is it perfect logic, Jagadish? You agree? A can only be A. Can A be B? No. Can B be A? No. A can only be A. B can only be B. This is perfect logic. This is Aristotelian logic. Now you are sitting here. Are you a man or a woman? If you go by the logic, you can only be this or that, isn't it? But what is the reality of life? Both the dimensions are there within you. Just a question of percentages, isn't it? That's how life is operating. That's not how logic is operating. Anyway, let's look at Aristotle's life. Extremely logical man, intellectually brilliant, no question about that. But tried to stretch logic to all aspects of life. And in many ways he was a cripple. One thing is, Aristotle's body never developed to its normal size. He was abnormally thin. So because of this, he used to wear 3 dresses, one over the other, just to make himself look presentable. See, if you're abnormally thin and you don't care, that's different. But if a man has to wear 3 clothes or 3 dresses, one on top of the other, that's not a good state of mind, isn't it so? Yes? That's not a good state of mind. This is how he was. One day, Aristotle was walking in the beach. A glorious sunset was happening. But Aristotle has no time for such petty things which happen every day. He's seriously thinking about some great problem of the existence. Because for a fool like Aristotle, existence is a problem, it's not a joy. And he believes he's going to solve it. So seriously thinking, he's walking up and down the beach. There's another man on the beach who is doing something very intensely. He is doing it so intensely that even Aristotle could not ignore him. You know, all these stupid people who can think a little bit, who are thinking too much about their own nonsense, they are people who ignore life around them. They are the people who don't have to smile at anybody in the world, they don't even have to look at everybody, they cannot go like this on the street, like they're practicing to go, for their funeral. Do you see such people? Because they think they're intellectual, they think they can ignore all the life around them. They have no eyes to look at a flower, they have no eyes to look at a sunset, they have no eyes to look at a child or a smiling face or even an unsmiling face to make it smile. They have no such small duties in the world or small responsibilities in the world or small cares in the world. They are all out there solving the problems of the existence. But you can't ignore this man because he's doing something so intensely. Then Aristotle noticed what he's doing. This man is going to the sea, ocean, coming back, going to the ocean, coming back, going to the ocean, coming back, in great intensity. So Aristotle stopped and asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" That man said, "Don't disturb me, I'm doing something very important." And went on and on. Then Aristotle became even more curious and asked, "What are you doing?" That man said, "Don't disturb me, something very important." He said, "What is this important thing?" Then he said, he had a little hole in the beach and he said, "I'm emptying the ocean into this hole." and he has a tablespoon in his hands. Aristotle looked at this and laughed. A man like Aristotle cannot laugh on a daily basis, you know. They cannot laugh, isn't it? You meet them every day or no? Or you are them? How many of you spend a day, one whole 24 hours without even a little bit of laughter? Okay, don't raise your hands. Aristotle is a kind who can spend a year without a single moment of laughter because he is intellect, you know. It takes a heart to laugh. Intellect cannot laugh, it can only dissect everything. Aristotle laughed and said, "This is ridiculous. You must be insane. Do you know how vast this ocean is? How can you ever empty this ocean into this little hole? And that too with a tablespoon? At least if you have a bucket, some chance. Please give this up. This is madness, I'm telling you." That man looked at Aristotle, threw the spoon down and said, "My job is already finished." Said, what do you mean it's finished? Even the hole is not full. Forget about ocean being empty, even the hole is not full. How can you say your job is finished? That man was Heraclitus. Heraclitus stood up and said, "I am trying to empty this ocean into this hole with a tablespoon. You are telling me it's ridiculous, it's madness to give it up. What are you trying to do? Do you know how vast this existence is? It can contain 1 billion oceans like this and more. And you are trying to empty it into the small hole of your head with what? With tablespoons called thoughts. Please give it up. It's very ridiculous."